Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and yes, I'm hosting this show today, You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. And our topic is a good one. Justin comes up with these great topics, and this show has been doing extremely well, typically in the top 10 most viewed episodes. So thank you everyone out there for watching. And I'm going to encourage you tonight to engage with us. That's right, wherever you're watching from, unless it's Amazon or Roku or one of those, Zizzle, you won't be able to interact. But if you are on social media, please do interact with us and the conversation. Today's conversation is, drumroll, power struggle has no place. That's the big Zippo in a relationship. Joining me is the star of our show. His name is Justin MIRIGLIANI. He's extensive experience in television, in broadcasting, as you can tell when he presents himself shortly. He also is a father, and he's very devoted to his children. He also is a business owner, and he helps people learn soft skills. And he's also a champion for people with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. And he has his own charity, which is a huge, giant event coming up in August. We're going to hear more about that. Let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Justin MIRIGLIANI, to the show. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Jacalyn.
I thought I left you speechless for a moment.
I just want to let you know we have an echo going on here. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I don't hear any echo.
Yeah, we got it. I'm hearing you twice. So I just want to let you know we're having right from the start, right from the.
I don't know. Maybe it's on. Can anyone who's watching, can you let us know if you hear an echo? We just did a show right before this and there was no echo. So is it hard for you to hear me? All right. I'm going to ask Justin to come out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay. So if you are out there, I see there are people watching. Can you put in the chat, is there an echo? Do you hear some echo? That would be helpful. Is there an echo? Okay, so we're going to be talking about power struggle in relationships, basically when one person wants more control than the other, I'm assuming. Thank you, Diane Cunningham. No echo. Really appreciate you for letting me know that. So have you ever been in a relationship where someone had the upper hand? I know I have, and it was always the other person. And why is that? I gave it to them. I gave them the upper hand. Justin's back. Okay, we have, hello, welcome. We have confirmation from Diane, who's watching over on YouTube. No echo.
No echo. Okay, now I'm not hearing one. I feel better.
So before we get into the topic, tell people a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I am a survivor of ulcerative colitis and ostomy surgery. I've had ostomy for, it's going to be 10 years in September. I'm a dad. I have two daughters, 18 and 14. I run my own business, a computer training business. I run my own charity for people with Crohn's colitis and also with ostomy. We have an NHL celebrity hockey game that we do. We're going to try to do it every 2 years, I think, now, because it's just so big. At this point, it's hard to do every year. I've been in TV for quite a while. I was on QVC for a few years, selling Dell computers at the time, and in my late 20s, early 30s, did that. And then I got a chance to get back into TV here on this great network that we have here around the world. USA Global TV and Radio. Just so I'm really thrilled to be a part of this and have the show every week.
Thank you, Justin. And you and I actually did a show called what was it called? The Entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur and so much more.
That's it. Entrepreneur and so much more. And also we did Take Steps.
Take Steps for Players.
You did Talking Heads. So you've done a lot of shows since 2021, I think. But anyway, let's get into our topic. So while you were gone and you came back, I was talking about the fact that in my experience, there's a power struggle because we give control, we give autonomy, we give decision-making power to the other person. And I know that I personally have done that a lot in my life because I just wanted to keep peace. I'm actually a peace ambassador. I don't like a lot of confrontation. I don't like a lot of drama. So I'd rather just say, you know what, let's go with what you want to do. But then secretly, I might be resenting you because I gave you the power. And that's something that you have to address. So for anybody out there who's had this experience, we'd love to hear from you. But Justin, when you picked this topic, what were you thinking?
Well, Saturday I had a really neat experience. A friend of mine invited me to a networking event. Achievement Dynamics Institute is where we had this event. And I actually joined the company. Mario Pinardo is the CEO and founder of the company. And it's just a wonderful place where people get together and talk about what we did Saturday was went around the room and there were just a few people in here who were going to be leaders of the company, and we talked about what our past is, what our present is, what our future might be. And to a person, it's all about giving. It's all about people who want to make the world better, people who certainly want to make money. I mean, I don't think any of us go into business with the idea that we don't want to, even if you're a missionary, you have to be able to keep the lights on. You have to be able to feed yourself. You have to be able to do those types of things. But these are people who are genuinely interested in trying to make the world a better place. And it was just a neat time to sit in that room and listen to those people talk about their stories and what they have learned, what they have gone through. We've all gone through a lot, and it also clarified some things for me that I'd like to talk to you about. That sometimes we learn things from olden days that may at some time have had some truth to them, but maybe not. And I think that's hard for us to figure out as we get older. What belief system do we have, and is our belief system right? And if it is, do we continue to go with it? Well, if we think it is, it is. But if question it, it's okay to question it. And there are some things that I question. And I wanted you to be a part of the show today so that we could talk about it and see from a woman's perspective what some of these ideas are. And I'll tell you what the women, I was the only man, besides Mario, who runs the company, I was the only man in the room. It was all women. We were shared a lot, and it was a neat shared experience with a lot of people, and connected us, and it was nice.
Well, I'm interested to dig into this. We do have a comment from Diane. It was nice meeting you on Saturday, Justin. Great stories. There you go. Thank you for commenting.
Yeah, it was nice, Diane. It was nice meeting you too. And we all had great stories. Everybody was. It was a really cool moment. A couple hours. It was a couple hours, and it was nice. So you can't help but look back on what has happened to you in your life and wonder what I could have done differently, how I could have been better. So going through a divorce now, and at the end stages of it, I listen to a lot of the Greek Stoics. And I'll go to bed and I'll put on the Greek Stoics, and they talk about stoicism. They talk about how a man the only way a man can be attractive to a woman is if he shows strength, and he doesn't show any weakness, and he doesn't chase the woman, or he doesn't make his feelings known. He doesn't. He shows that nothing bothers him, and I'm listening to that and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I believe this. I don't know if this is really, I mean, I get it that it's old information. It's handed down from generation to generation. But when I talked about my story, I told the women and Mario about that I'm not always that. That it's a fallacy. That I don't think this is really the way life is. I think that men. I know that men. I am one, and for a while doubted my own manhood because I would cry when I needed to. I don't cry every 15 minutes, but I don't not cry if I have to. I don't cry if I get hurt, like if I get hit with a puck or something like that playing hockey. But if somebody dies or my kids are in pain or whatever that might be, yeah, I break down and I do have moments where I'm depressed. And these Greek Stoics are like, well, you can't have that, you can't do that. You can't if somebody texts you, especially a woman texts you, you don't give her the power of texting right back. Well, if the phone's in my hand and somebody texts me, why would I not text them right back? Why are there arbitrary rules that make no sense? What does it mean? Does it mean that I was waiting for them? No, means the phone was in my hand. You texted me, I'm texting you back. But I would do that with a guy friend too. I mean, why are these rules? You go out on a date, you can't call the next day. We make up these arbitrary rules that I think are just holding everybody back and making everybody crazy, especially with social media. I think it's just made it worse. So I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. I grew up with a father who always told me to play hard to get. He always would say, if a man can get something easily, he's going to get bored and he's going to run off and do something else. So that philosophy is what was instilled in my brain. And to this day, just to comment on what you shared, I think that a man should be able to show a soft side, the feminine side, should be able to express himself. But I also think at the end of the day, as a woman, I know for me, I want to feel safe. And I want to feel that I can trust you. And I want to feel that I can rely on you. And I want to feel that you're going to be there for me. So I think where I'm going with that is if someone is spending a lot of time, what is a lot of time? I don't know, but they're crying, they're sad, they're indecisive. That to me is going to be a turnoff
Sure.
because I'm very strong. So the way that I am now, I think is probably a turnoff to men, which is I will allow myself to be soft and sweet, but at my core, that's not really who I am. I am soft and sweet. I am nice and I am kind, but I'm a driven person. I like to get things done. I want to leave a legacy. We just had a show right before this, and the show was about nothing, like the Seinfeld show. Like I don't spend a lot of time talking about nothing. I have a lot of goals. I love what I'm doing, and this is a huge part of my life. This and working out. So for me, I would need a strong man who's also driven, but at the same time doesn't want to change me. And I think that's an important part also. So before I turn it back to you, the other thing I would say is when I confront something that is making me unhappy, I just said something yesterday that was made me very sad. And I said to myself, like I always do, first of all, you can have a pity party for yourself. We're going to time it. It's 10 minutes. Boo hoo, cry, sob, yell, whatever. Then take out a piece of paper and write, I forgive this person. I forgive myself. I just keep writing it over and over again. And then find the solution. The solution, eliminate this person from my life. How am I going to do it? And that's what I did. And today I have not looked back. And that's just how I am. What is the solution and how can I get there so that I can find more peace in my life? Over to you, Justin.
And that makes sense. I guess what I wonder is what makes women feel safe. I mean, I think there are social norms that need to be that are followed. I think that there are things that nothing's 100%, but most of the time, somebody breaks in the house, it's the man who goes down and confronts the person who breaks in the house. I think that's mostly how it's done. When a child is hurt and crying, who do they run to? They run to their mother first. They run to the nurturer, the one that I think there's some natural things that happen. I think some of them are good and should be, and I think there's some of them that might not be, because I grew up in a lot of the women talked about having to unlearn things, and that got me thinking about things that I had to unlearn. Maybe I wasn't good enough in my marriage when doing domestic things, because when I grew up, my mom did a lot of the domestic stuff. My dad did some, but my mom was the one who cooked. My mom was the one who cleaned. When we had holidays, my mom and all the women would do the dishes and clean up everything, and the men would be sitting and watching football and things like that. And it didn't dawn on me at the time that was normal at the time. So the women were talking about having to unlearn things, and it got me to think about what I have to unlearn, and maybe what I failed to do in my marriage that might have saved it. Who knows? I mean, I certainly don't think that marriages end because one person. I think they end because of two people. I certainly don't think that I was the greatest husband in the world. I tried my best to do the best I could. I think I'm a better person now than I was then, being older. But I had to unlearn some things. I had to decide, that you got to pitch in and do the dishes. You got to help with household chores, and because women are going out and they're working now, they're like they should be, and they're hopefully going to start getting bigger pieces of the pie, and that's a good thing. I have two daughters. I hope they go. The space is the limit. I mean, just keep going and going and going. I don't want them to be held back, and I think when you grow up in an Italian family in South Philly, there is an expectation to be tough, and you're not supposed to, if a man would hold a baby, they would say, oh, what are you going to do, wear a skirt too, that type of thing. And it's you have to unlearn that. I mean, it's not something that you can just say, okay, that's wrong, because you don't know any better. And then you grow up, and then you start to realize, yeah, this didn't make any sense. This was not right. And that's what I heard from the women. I mean, a few of them were talking, I won't use any names, but they were talking about things like, we have to work 3 times harder than men to get the same kind of payment or the same kind of recognition. Or, they were taught as children that they were not as good as men, and men were better than them. And I at the same time, I think we have to acknowledge that there are usual differences between men and women, but they're not always going to be that way. I mean, you may have some women who want to do what would be considered male things, and some men who might want to do some things that would be considered female things, yet they're still men and women. So I think there is a lot of unlearning to do before we start to evolve and get a little bit better. I think that it's going to take time. So it was enlightening to me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And everything that you're sharing really sounds to me about, and you don't even know this when you were asked me to be with you today, but it's all about setting boundaries and asking permission. It's all about communication. So when we're younger, we have these values instilled in us. And of course, you're younger than I am. I'm 62. So the generation that I grew up in is different than the generation that you grew up in. But the generation I grew up in, it was really about respecting your parents. That was my dad's big word. You better respect your mother and I, or you'll be on the street. And he meant it. He didn't talk to me for 6 months for something I did at work. He would walk right by me at work, and he wouldn't even look at me. So that's the way that I grew up. But I really feel like as we evolve, with the younger generations, younger than you, they sit down and have these conversations about who's working, who's taking care of the kids, who's doing the housework. And so it's a conversation. And I think when you get into a new relationship, you're getting divorced, newly divorced. I've been divorced since 1999. So for me, I look at things in a very different way. I look at it as though I have built this life, and for someone to come into my life and me to go into their life, we're going to have to figure it out because they're probably already established. I'm established. I don't have any children. And so we'd have to have some definite conversations about who was doing what. So that would mean not necessarily unlearning something, but it might mean compromising. I think it's all about negotiating. And to your point, you said something about, I remember hearing the word failed. You said you failed and that something was wrong. What I hear, Justin, is you making judgments about yourself. And so when you judge yourself, you're basically putting yourself in the back. You're putting yourself in the timeout. You're saying, oh no, bad, Justin, and you're not bad. You didn't do anything wrong. Wrong is a judgment. You were just in a situation, a relationship that for whatever reason at this time it came to an end. So I would really just ask you to not put yourself down and not say to yourself, you did this wrong, even with the housework. That could have been a conversation with the two of you. Hey, would you mind doing this around the house? And I'll do that in the yard, or whatever the case is. Again, to me, as a coach, it just comes back to, and I shouldn't say just because it's difficult, it comes down to communicating and elevated listening, and then establishing the roles as to who's going to do what. Because the world we live in today, it's not just male and female, right? Even though the administration says that it is, there are people who have different backgrounds and live different lives than what we've known in traditional roles. So regardless of what role you're in, you're a human being. And so two humans coming together in a relationship have to decide, what are we going to do to make sure that we are respecting each other, respecting ourselves, and having the most effective household, or whatever the case may be. That's a lot that I just shared. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you're right. I think that I don't know if I'm punishing myself more than I want to learn from mistakes and be better. Not make the same mistakes that I made before. You look back, and there are many parts of my life that I look back and think, man, I wish I would have done this better. I wish I would have done that better. I wish I would have thought of this. I wish I would have thought of that. Knowing that I'm not perfect, knowing that I have imperfections, that I do have foibles, that there are things that about me that are not fantastic, but there are other things I think that are good, and that hopefully make up for the stuff that isn't so good. And I think that's true for everybody, though. I don't think that's unique to me. I think that's something that all human beings go through. Now, with the Achievement Dynamics Institute, one of the things is it's people coming together, and Mario Pinardo is trying to build this team of people who train these things, train how to be happy, how to, my part's going to be heading up the technology department and teaching people technology. And it's just going to be a whole way of living your life and finding out who you are and what you are and how you react to things. And Mario's done a great job. I actually bought into the company and want to be a part of it. And what it is making people better people, helping people grow, helping people become less self-centered. I don't believe in. I grew up in the '80s, and the whole idea of greed is good. From the movie, I forget what Wall Street, I think, was the movie. Greed is good, and I have friends who believe that greed is good. That you should get as much as you can, and I think it's just the opposite. I think the more successful you are is the more that you give than you get. So I think there has to be a switch that in the thinking. I look at millionaires or billionaires, and I think to myself, how do you let your friends struggle? I know of a billionaire. I don't know him personally, but he has close friends who are in businesses that are not as profitable as they once were, because the world is changing. There are things that are different now. And I ask myself, how do you let your friend struggle? Like, if you have $1 billion, how do you not throw your friend a couple of million and say, just retire? I know you're struggling, you're working hard every day, you're busting it like crazy. Why? Why are you doing that? Why? And that's what the Achievement Dynamics Institute is teaching, is that yes, it's okay to want to get ahead. It's okay to want to take care of your family, to have enough money to do the things that you want to do, to treat yourself right, to go on vacations, to have the car that you want, to have all the things that you want, but also have the integrity to give and to share, and to not, it's not going with you when you die. So no matter how much money you sit in that bank account when you're dead, that's how much money's in the bank account. Whether it's negative or positive, it's the same thing. You're dead. So it doesn't make a difference. So why not make a difference while you're here and be giving and be a part of this? And I'm hoping that and I'm sure we can get Mario to do the show with us one day and talk more about the Institute. I'd rather him get more into the details of it. But what I experienced on Saturday was how this group of people give back in so many different ways for so many different reasons, whether it was a loss of a parent, or whether it was a childhood trauma, or whether it was neighborhoods that they grew up in where they saw people struggling, want to help, women who or young girls who are going to the prom, get prom dresses and feel like they're pretty and feel like good about themselves, and boys being taught that it's okay to have a soft side and also have the strong side. When you say protected, I look at it a couple different ways. One way is emotional protection. Men and women need to give that to each other, because I think, in my opinion, if you are with someone and you're in a committed relationship, when let's say one of the parents passed away, or somebody close in the family, the other one has to be strong. The other one has to be able to be the rock at that time. And that is protection. That's mental and spiritual protection. And then I think there are times that physical protection is important too. I mean, we look at it and we say, well, it's stupid to get into fights. Well, of course it's stupid to get into fights, but what are you going to do if somebody tries to attack your car? Are you going to let them beat your wife or your girlfriend, or are you going to stand up and, what we would say, man up and do what you need to do to protect? I think that that's important too. You would hope that it would never get to that, but when women say they want to be protected, I think it's more than just a physical thing that they want to be protected. They want to be supported. And I don't think women today want to be completed. I think they are complete. I think they want to be complimented. I think that that's more of what, and men, that what we're looking for. I don't think you can complete another person. That's something that we heard in the 70s and 80s, that you complete me. And it was supposed to be sweet, and it was supposed to be something that really was a beautiful thing, that you complete that other person. But you don't complete them. They're complete as they are. You compliment them. And I think that's a shift that we need to make, because it makes for better relationships, I think. And one thing that I can tell you is that I'm seeing on a dating scene now, either men or women are completely turned off the dating, period. They don't want anything to do with it at all whatsoever, just completely out of it. Or B, they only want a long-term relationship. I see that on the dating sites all the time. Don't message me unless you're looking for a long-term relationship. How can I know if I want a long-term relationship with anyone if I haven't had a short-term relationship with them first? You can't jump from, hi, how are you, to let's go to bed together or let's have a relationship together, without having a short-term relationship and getting to know each other and getting to understand each other and learn what each other likes, what each other is spiritually, what each other is emotionally, what each other likes physically. And if you don't take the time to do those things, you're not going to have a successful relationship. And sometimes you learn the hard way. And it looks like, Jacalyn, you and I have learned the hard way. And so now you look at the statistics, and somebody told me the other day that marriage is now 60-40. Now, 10 years ago, it was 50-50, where half of marriages ended in divorce. Now it's 60% from what I've heard. Now, I haven't corroborated that, but it makes sense to me that it's getting to the point where people are getting tired of each other. And that's I think, one of the dangers of the internet and connecting electronically is we build up these relationships before they're ready to be built. They're not organic. A friend of mine, our first conversation together, I'll never forget, she used the word organic for how relationships should work. And I never thought of the word organic. I always felt that way, but I didn't think of that actual word, organic. And it has to be organic. The first time I ever fell in love was in college. It was organic. I got to know this girl. She was not your prototypical hot girl that cheerleader type, the beauty, the queen of the home court and all that. But that didn't matter, because it was, the whole package was what I wanted. It was, I like to look in her eyes. I'd like to see her smile. I was attracted to her looks too. But somebody else might say, well, Justin, you are popular here, and I was in college. I was really, really popular, and there were a lot of opportunities for me to date more than I did. And I was selective, because I didn't want to just date based on looks, or date solely based on looks, or solely based on anything else. There has to be a whole mix. So I think that's what's happening now, is people are in such a rush to make relationships that the organic part of it is starting to slip away. And that is probably the reason why divorce is happening, because people are saying, I'm in love with you. I met you 5 times, and we went on 5 dates, and we're in love. You're not in love yet. I don't believe that there's love at first sight. I think there's admiration. I think there's infatuation. I think there's attraction. But love has to grow. I mean, it's like, you can't plant a flower and it grow overnight. You wake up tomorrow and the rose is bloomed and everything. You got to water it. You have to let it sit. You have to put it in the sunlight. You have to do all the things that are necessary to make it grow. I think relationships are pretty much the same thing. That you must take the time. You cannot rush it, and that's what I think is causing now divorce to go up versus years past. If you look probably 50, 60 years ago, it was probably closer to 70-30, where 70% of people stayed together their whole lives. There were a lot more 50th anniversaries back then than there are going to be in the next generation. I can tell you that.
Wow, Justin, you touched on so many things. Thank you very much. I will try to address them. I agree with some of the things that you've said, and I have a different point of view on some of the things you said. So I'll just peel back the onion a little bit. Basically, in my experience, I've been divorced for a very long time. Once you actually get divorced, there's a whole other set of emotions that you go through. And then when you're by yourself, and I really believe to be by yourself and live in your own skin, live on your own without anyone, that takes a lot of determination. True. And belief in yourself. And many people can't do it. Many people go from one relationship to the next because they don't want to actually sit by yourself. But when you do sit by yourself, and you go out by yourself, and you answer your own questions, and you figure things out on your own, at least in my experience, I have a different perspective about relationships because I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone. It's your point about completing. If you're not a complete person, then I don't know how attractive that's going to be. You have to be complete on your own. It's not like one half completes the other, like they used to say. I don't believe that. It's about two complete people coming together. And I think the longer that you're alone, you think to yourself, well, when I get into a relationship, I'd like it to be long term. So in other words, if you put together, a business strategy, the strategy is to find a long-term partner so that you don't have to keep going through this. But I think many people don't want to have a long-term partner. I've read things on social media. One woman said she wants to be married 12 times. And some people are just interested in meeting different people, having experience. It's like when I worked in corporate, it was cradle to grave. I worked for AT&T and I thought I'd work there forever. I was there for 10 years. And I think that's the mindset. You would get into a relationship and you'd be in it forever. But then it all switched. And I know when I was in corporate, all of a sudden people were in jobs for 2 years. And I thought, 2 years? I thought you're supposed to go the distance, right? You're supposed to be the loyalty. You hang in there. And my background is in selling loyalty programs. And that's why I'm so big on loyalty programs, even for our team, always posting the top 10, the top 10. It's a lot of work, but I think it's important. Sure. So going back to the other point you made about safe. When my mother was alive, I was very close to her after my dad died. Before my dad died, I was very close to my dad. So I became very close to my mother. And she said to me in the last, I guess, and again, she died August of 2023. So she said to me in 2022, she said, you and I are a couple. And I thought that was so ridiculous. And I said, Mom, can't be a couple. I mean, you're my mother. But it actually made sense. And I didn't realize it until after she died. And it goes back to this safety thing. So my mother had dementia. And so she wasn't always, on point with everything, but she knew me. She got me. She knew what made me tick. She didn't want to change me. And we would watch, our television shows together, and she wouldn't understand what the people in the UK were saying. But afterwards, she'd have some kind of conversation. And it wasn't a lot of work. It just was like two people who felt very comfortable with one another. And as the dementia progressed, it was my job literally to keep her safe. But inside, I emotionally felt safe with her. And I think if I were to have a relationship again, which is not a priority to me because I love everything that I'm doing, I feel like there's always that need to, well, if we're going to be together, you have to give up this, or you have to stop doing that because you don't have enough time to actually put into a relationship. So if I were to be in a relationship, I'd have to feel emotionally safe, meaning that you wouldn't try to change me. At 62, I am not changing. I'm even more steadfast and independent than I used to be. I go through every situation in life with no one there. Nobody knows where I am. Nobody knows what's going on. And I have to figure it all out by myself. So it would take a certain kind of man who would feel comfortable in that kind of scenario. So I don't know if that helps you at all, but at least for me, the safety means that I can count on you, that when I call you, you're not going to play games. I don't have to chase you down. I don't have to hear all these ridiculous excuses about why you didn't do this and why you didn't do that. Just, you just tell me, listen, I didn't feel like seeing you. So therefore, whatever the case might be. And then at least there's something to build on instead of ridiculous excuses that I hear this all the time from people, just in general. I'm so busy. Really? Is anyone not? I guess there are people who are not busy, but busy to me is a non-word. It doesn't really mean anything. You're productive. You're helping others. You're giving back. We all have a role in this life. So I'm going to stop there because we're running out of time. And we do have a comment from Mario.
Hey, Mario.
Saturday, you and the others who attended were so inspirational. Our stories serve to empower one another with wisdom and compassion. So
we're going to have Mario on one day, Dr. Jacalyn, and he's going to explain. I don't, obviously we don't have the time, but Achievement Dynamics Institute is something special. It's the ground floor, and it's something that will help people grow. And what Mario has done is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, congratulations, Mario, and you are welcome to come on this show. And then we've got altogether 59 different shows. So, and we are expanding, Justin. I'm headed to Europe. I'm doing a European tour of a number of cities, looking for show hosts who speak foreign languages so we can run this platform 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But my friend, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to say au revoir for right now. Adios, via con Dios, and you can take us through the rest of the show. Thank you, everyone.
All right. So to finish up the show, everybody, and first of all, thank you for commenting and for watching. We always finish the show with this commercial. It's going to be, we're going to run it right now. It's about the Flyers, or actually not the Flyers, but NHL Celebrity Alumni Game that's coming up on August 23rd, 2025. Let's roll the commercial. I'll tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll end the show.
I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Nolan here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity.
And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just to be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here to the bitter, and I never know what I got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that get done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Common Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Creative for saving my life and finding the disease and treating me for so long. And the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
All right, so that's August 23rd, 2025. We're going to have an open bar for 2 hours. We're going to have a buffet after the game. This is all after the game. Open bar, buffet. You can hang out with the players. You can have a drink with the players. They'll sign autographs for you, no charge. The tickets are $70. That's it. That's for the game, and that is for the after party too. So make sure that you go to our website, www.checkmatescharity.com. and you can buy your tickets right there. Now, on June 21st, we're having a signing with Mark Howe and Brian Propp. They're going to come and sign books. They're going to sign any of your memorabilia. We don't know where we're going to have it yet. It might be at my house, actually. If not, we're going to find a restaurant that's going to open up for us. And we're looking for restaurants to donate just a couple of tables. We don't really want food. We want you to get the food bought. So that's June 21st. We're going to have that book signing. And not only book signing, memorabilia as well, to help pay for this game, too, because it's very expensive to put this on. Players we expect to be playing: Mark Recchi, Brian Propp, Robert Moore. Kevin Denny might not be able to make it, but we're looking into Rick Tocchet. We're looking into the other players: Chris Terry and Doug Crossman, Tapa Durek, and Riley Cote. Bernie Perrant will be on hand. Joe Conklin's going to do a set for us. Lauren Hart's going to sing for us. Legendary NHL referee Kerry Frazier. Can you believe Kerry Frazier? If you know hockey, you know Kerry Frazier with the great hair. He's going to be the referee. So a lot of great stuff coming up. So please, please, please go to our website, www.checkmatescharity.com, and buy your tickets for the event on June 21st, wherever it is, whether it's in a restaurant or in my home. It's going to be the fee is $70 to get in. In other words, you have to buy a ticket to the game to get in. And then you can buy any memorabilia you want, or just get whatever you have on your own signed for no charge. If you want to buy one of their books, you'll have to pay for that. But $70 to come and buy a ticket, one ticket, that's all you got to buy. And then you can come in and you can get as many autographs as you want from Brian Propp and from Mark Howe. Flyers Hall of Famer Brian Propp, NHL Hall of Famer Mark Howe. Come on, $70, and then you get to come to the game in August. So that's June 21st. We're going to find the location, again, either at a restaurant or my home, and we're going to do it there. So with that, we're going to wrap up the show. I want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in again this week. You made us number one 2 weeks ago. Let's make us number one every week. All right. So this is Use a Whole Body, Mind, and Soul on USA Global TV and Radio. Don't forget to subscribe to us and to Dr. Jacalyn's website as well, her channel rather. And thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring, introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website ringthing.com.
From the magical world of the amazing adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she is not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor, this 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who was going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com. Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacalyn.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.